Hey guys, thought I'd make a update video for you. As you can see, I got my YJ sitting in the garage. Um, I guess we'll just get right into it as far as what I've been doing. Um, so last October, or no, last July 2022, the four cylinder that was in this blew up, and I decided that I was going to make a hot rod out of it. So, over this time, since July 2022, I have been mainly doing body work, doing frame work, getting parts for it. And, over the course of the past year and a half, a lot of stuff's come up. This has been kind of pushed off to the side for most of that time. I'm just now getting back into working on it. The past couple months, I've painted the inside of the tub and put Kirky racing buckets in. Um, I've got a 355 under that towel to go in it. It has to get rebuilt. It needs cam bearings and bottom end kit and everything. But I have the bottom end kit. I just have to get the cam bearings and the camshaft for it. And then once I get that, I can start putting that back together. It's got a 12 bolt in it right now. 373 posi 12 bolt out of a truck. No idea what year, but my buddy had it in his 68 Firebird, so I had to cut the spring mounts and re-weld them, which turned out pretty good. Got my list here, so we're gonna start off with the miscellaneous stuff. We're gonna go clockwise. I need to do rear brakes. It needs everything in the rear brakes. Right now it's just completely gutted. It needs front brakes. They've been sitting for a really long time. At this point, I'm just going to replace them because they're all sorts of rusty. I want to get a grill guard for it because I think that would look cool. Fuel tank stuff. I have the factory fuel tank and skid plate to go in it. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to clear the diff cover. So if it doesn't, then I'm going to run a fuel cell in the top. But if it does, I'm going to run they sell factory carbureted sending units for these. Because, obviously 91, the 4 cylinders and the 6 cylinders were fuel injected, but they do sell sending units for carbureted models where I could have that and then run a mechanical fuel pump on the engine or a clacker pump on the frame and not have to worry about a fuel pressure regulator or anything like that. So that's that. I need to get tires for all the rims. Right now it's mismatched. I have weld drag skinnies up front and what I assume are either Krager or American Racing aluminum rims in the back. They might be American Racing Outlaw rims. I have to get center caps for them as well. I have another set of 2 of those, and then I also have the matching set of drag rears that match these. And then I want to get a summer top cab cover combo, which basically covers up this whole back area. And then actually, I don't know that I would be able to run that now that I think about it. That might get in the way with the seats, so I might not even be able to do that. Anyway. And then as far as the body is concerned, I need to get a front frame cover. It's a little plastic piece that sandwiches in between the grill and the bumper. I have rocker covers for it over here. Right now they're diamond plated. but I'm going to paint them black and put them on because they start at that rear wheel well, and then they come all the way up to here, and that'll cover up. I have a crappy patch on the driver's side that'll cover that up, make it look a little better. Bondo, obvious reasons. Paint, I have a slightly darker shade of blue to paint the rest of the car with. I'm thinking of keeping the front grille and everything and the fender caps black, but then doing a black strip on the front edge of the hood, and then everything else being that darker shade of blue. I think that would be kind of cool. I have to get door hinges for it. As far as the hood is concerned, I want to put the engine together and then see how it fits with an air cleaner and everything on it. And if it doesn't fit under there with an air cleaner on it, which it probably will, but if it doesn't, I'm going to put a scoop on it or a cowl on it. I need to get rear fender flares for it to match the width, because obviously that 12 bolt is a lot fatter in the back than the little Dana 35 that came in this thing. So I need to get the wider fender flares for it. Lights, I have to put all the lights on it and do all the harnesses for everything. As far as the engine is concerned, I'll actually pop the hood to demonstrate, but like I said, it needs cam bearings, it needs to get rebuilt, I need to paint it, I need to do the pulleys and accessory drive, I need to buy a starter, a distributor for it. I have a intake for it, it's an Edelbrock Performer RPM, and then I also have this 750 double pumper for it, which might be a little overkill for the 355. We'll just have to see how it runs with that on it. Otherwise, I have an Edelbrock carb for it, just an AVS 2. I have to get a water pump for it. I'm considering running a electric Summit water pump. I need to get a timing set for it. And then I'm also trying to figure out the exhaust. And I will set you down for a second. So with the exhaust, they do sell on Summit fender well exit headers for a CJ7, which would exit down through there and then kind of come parallel with the bottom of the body. And I think to fit those in, I would just have to either get rid of these supports or cut out the bottom of the fender. I'm not sure, but I do want to run those. They're meant for a CJ7, but it should theoretically fit a YJ. The frames are the same and the tubs are the same. The fenders are different, which is why I would have to modify the fenders. But that's not the point. But so then I'm going to have the fender well exit headers and then cutouts, and then I'm going to run just some muffler under there and then have the exhaust coming out the side at the back there, right in front of the tire. Onto suspension, I need to get front shocks, rear shocks. I need to get the rubber spring isolators that go in between the spring and the spring pad on the differential. Those 12 bolts are meant to have those rubber pads. Otherwise, they're not going to get tight on the springs, which they're not tight on the springs right now, even with the spring plates all the way tightened. I need to get front ball joints for it because I've never replaced those, and ideally, I don't even know where I was going with that. Ideally, but my other plan is I want to gut this front end, completely take everything out of it, axle shafts, disconnect, ring and pinion, everything. and I want to put a blank over the pumpkin, a blank over the holes, and essentially make this just a straight axle. And then, if you know anything about these YJs, the axle shafts sandwich the wheel bearing together. So if you don't have the axle shaft, the wheel bearing is literally just going to fall off. Ask me how I know. So my plan is going to be I'm going to disassemble these axle shafts and then just run the outer little stub axle thingy, the little knuckle, and bolt it to the wheel bearing. That way it's still holding the wheel bearing together, but I don't have it connected to the other half of the axle shaft, so I can still run the gutted front end. And then I have to paint the front end because obviously it's nasty. And then for the frame, I need to do the brake lines and fuel lines, obviously. I need to install the wiring harnesses for it, the taillight harness and everything, sending unit harness. And then I need to do a tow hitch receiver because I want to have the ability to put a basket on the back if I want to carry some extra stuff, because if I end up running a fuel cell in this, it's going to have no trunk space at all. So it would be nice to be able to carry something every once in a while. And then as far as the interior goes, starting on the outside, I have half doors to go on it that need to get rebuilt. These full doors are nice, but I think on the driver's side, this upper frame is detached right there, so it wiggles really bad, and I just don't like the full doors as much. And considering I'm going to be going with the Roadster kind of look, it's not going to work. As you can see, I got my Kirky racing buckets installed, so we'll take a seat in it. I need to make a plate to go over the trans tunnel, and then I need to put a shifter in it. I have a Hurst quarter stick shifter to go in it. I need to rebuild the steering column. At least put it needed a bearing in the bottom really bad, so I have to put that bearing in it. I need to get a steering shaft and a steering box for it. And for the steering box, I'm thinking of getting a manual steering box just so I have to avoid, the power steering stuff. Just one less failure point, one less thing for me to check. And it's just more strain taken off of the engine, not having to run the power steering pump. Obviously, I have to put the interior back together. The heater box is out of it. There's literally it's just the dashboard in it right now and some of the ducting. But I have to put the wiring harnesses back in, the fuse panel, everything. I'm considering I have a second dashboard over there to go in it if I end up. I'm considering putting just blank sheets of metal over these holes and cutting out holes for auto meter or Sunpro gauges. Otherwise, I could just try and adapt the factory gauges to work with the 355. I would still have to get this middle part made out of custom gauges though, because the factory gauges obviously only work with the factory PCM and everything. So trying to think what else. I want to get a vinyl floor covering in it because you can see I patched the driver's side floor. It came out pretty decent, but I would like to just cover it up. That way it looks better. I have to see if the roll bar will fit in with these seats in it. Hopefully it will. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't, because I'm not going to be driving this thing like a complete asshole. But it would be nice to have some sort of semblance of safety in a crash. Take a step out of it. But yeah, that's pretty much where we are right now. As far as my goals are concerned, I want to get the I want to at least get the engine rebuilt by the springtime, or at least by next summer. And then over the course of next summer, work on all the rest of the little piddly stuff. That way, hopefully, uh, I think summer 2024 might be a little too ambitious, but hopefully summer 2025 I'll get this thing done, or at least driving. I've had this car since I got out of high school, so it would be really nice if I could get this thing done and at least get to drive it again. I haven't driven it in over a year. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where I am with it. Nothing else to really talk about, so I'll let you guys go. Catch you in the next one. Peace.